Hey, what's up, Canada and beyond? It is Thursday, July 25th, and tonight we're going to take a little bit of a different look at who controls the world's media. And I think people would be a little bit surprised to know uh, that although here in Canada we are experiencing extreme censorship, the likes of which can only be compared to North Korea, China, some of these basic dictatorships that our prime minister here admires so much, because they have an ability to get things turned around on a dime through propaganda and censorship. And we look at the illusion of choice, the Globals, Chorus, Comcast, all of these different things. And so tonight, I don't know if we're going to have the full hour's worth here. Life kind of gets in the way. I got derailed by a project with some European flair to it. You guys will see that on Jim Ferguson's platform tomorrow, and I've been invited to co-host an international conversation with him on X Spaces as well tomorrow afternoon. So I think he said 7 p.m. in the UK. So wherever you are, do the math accordingly. I'll be surprised if I make it on time. I am terrible for that time change thing too. But anyways, we're going to get into that here in just a minute. We're going to have some fun stuff. I got to be honest, when I started digging into this, and this isn't the first time I've dug into this, but today, over the last couple of days, I was digging into it a little bit deeper, and it's got to be honest, it's getting a little bit scarier. I'm going to be kind of careful on how I approach this. I'm going to be using publicly available information for everybody, but people are here in Canada are going to probably get introduced to somebody that they had no idea was the ninth richest family in the world. And it kind of brings me to a point, but before we get into that, I see got a little bit of a crackle on Facebook. Honest, this is kind of shocking to me here. It's Thursday. This is show number 4 this week. They've allowed me to stream on Facebook. They have not allowed me to stream on Facebook for like 3 months. Good now? Excellent, excellent. So yeah, I hope you guys throw into the comments. I want to know where you guys are tuning in from, because I want to be able to direct you guys accordingly to some awesome stuff that's going to be coming down the pipe. You guys remember those international roundtables that I was hosting for a little while? Absolutely phenomenal stuff. We're going to be taking a revisit into some of that through invitation from Europe. So stay plugged in. Make sure you guys get subscribed on some of these different platforms that we're on. Surprisingly, I don't know how long it's going to last. We're actually still streaming on YouTube as well as Facebook. Total mystery to me. But in the meantime and between times, where we have been having the best luck is on Rumble. So if you're tuning in on X or Instagram, we're also streaming on Instagram. Another mystery to me. They never suspended me from streaming on Instagram, although they did on Facebook. It's just absolutely absurd. But Instagram, Rumble, and also Wimkin. But Rumble here that you guys are seeing here, make sure you hit that bell. Make sure that you're subscribed there. Turn on your notifications, and then when we cover a show here that you want more details on, get on over to Substack, and that's in the link where you're watching from. whatsupcanada.substack.com, where I bring the receipts, the links, the documents, the PDFs, the files, the reports. That's where it all comes out on Substack, and they've been absolutely phenomenal. So that's kind of the two footprints while we're rebuilding What's Up Canada, my home platform, and of course LGM, regular as reliable as time. So that's really important. I've been talking about a little bit. If you guys remember, actually, before I leave this page here, last night we talked about taking back your civics, organizing, getting organized as communities, putting aside the silliness, and getting involved in things that have have power, have community. The Nadine and I had such a wonderful discussion last night, and she was so full of tips and experience on how to take back our communities. Um, this is so critically important. If we don't figure out how to do this pretty quickly, then we're going to continue to flail away, and achieve no results. So I got Nadine on because she's been having results. She knows how to have victories, and that's important for people to start figuring that out, because there are other things that we can do. You'll be hearing me talk a lot in the next little while about tactical civics. And on Saturday, we're having a test run with some of the new tech that we've been developing here at LGM, What's Up Canada, uh, to create alternative environments, shall we say, right? I've been talking about this stuff for a long time. So tomorrow, or pardon me, on Saturday, we're having a first beta test run for what we're intending to be the future of our ability to resist the tyranny through organizing and communicating. Right. And so we're going to be starting small, simple tomorrow. You can come up over here, click the join. It'll ask for your email address and your name, and it's going to work. It kind of like a Zoom call, same but different. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing tomorrow. This is just me kind of trying to encapsulate and rambling on again about what this is about without giving away too much, because we get watched by people that don't have the best of intentions. So I've seen what's possible and what is probable, and without our maximum efforts to resist it, uh, we're going to be in trouble. So this is kind of me bringing together a bunch of what I know, people I know, things that are working, and we're going to kind of start a little bit of another branch of this massive community. We have such an amazing international community here already, and I want to bring more solutions, not just the negative news, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this. And tactical civics does it literally starts with community coming together for specific strategies, goals, and objectives. This meeting will be about dollar politics and how we can exponentially be more effective with a tactical community and a loyalty driven approach, right? I hope this is making sense. Uh, Join in over there. This is happening at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Saturday morning, I don't want to take up your weekend or ruin your Sunday. We're going to be having that little test pilot event. So, what are we getting into tonight? We're going to get into Reuters, is where we're going to start. Um, Starting right at the top of the heap here, guys. And as we get into here, I'm going to be showing you guys um, information that you can go and find everywhere else. But like I was saying earlier, the deeper you look into these guys, the more overwhelming it becomes. So I'm not really talking about Reuters so much, but this is where we're going to start, because this is, media when it comes to top tier, top level, the number one reliable sources in the Mockingbird media, what we call the Mockingbird media, but the traditional media, the established media. Reuters is like the top shelf. Everybody defers to Reuters. If Reuters says it, it must be true. It must be fact, right? So that's kind of the air around Reuters. And we're going to look at them a little bit and get to know who they are a little bit and what they are a party to, I guess, or associated with through ownership and stuff. So Reuters is a news agency owned by Thomas Reuters. This is not the case at this point anymore. They have been purchased. This is obviously an old update, and this is where don't believe your lying eyes. We're always looking at different things, but who owns Reuters then? It's no longer owned by Mr. Tom or Mr. Reuters. It's now a conglomeration of Thomson Reuters, and that is the Thomson family bought Reuters. Reuters originally is a Austrian based, um, been around since the 1800s, 1851. So been around forever. Founder was Paul Reuter. I'm not really going to be looking into the tail end of Reuters themselves. That's not really what we're going to be looking into. But Reuters is the benchmark, right? Reuters is the bar. And who owns that? It's the Thomson family, the Thomson Reuters Corporation, and the Thomson Reuters Group Unlimited. So, who are the Thomsons? A lot of people may not know the Thomsons. We're going to get a little bit of a look at the Thomsons, but that's hard to do. You know how, and don't realizing that everything is inverted. Yeah, if I'm going to make a comic book analogy here, in all the superheroes, Bruce Wayne, the dark corporate billionaire hiding out secret, but yet the philanthropist giving away millions of dollars all the time, right? That's kind of where the family behind the Thompson or the Thompson family. So, at the writing of this article a couple of months ago, they were worth about $71 billion. I don't think anybody really actually knows, but they've been around for. This family has been around for a very, very long time, to the point where they actually owned the Hudson Bay Company at one time, and they've been kind of labeled or known as the troubled Thompson family. Now, this article, when I was going back, there's a lot written about this family and the organizations that they own and who all really runs it. It's this kind of shadow company that is worth, owned by billionaires. And in these reports that I'm pulling up here, I'm not very well organized with it tonight, and I'm honestly suffering from a bit of a headache, and my eyes are popping out of my skull from all of the reading that I'm been doing on this story, and then I'm getting pulled away from it for several hours today. Didn't get it organized the way I really wanted to. But there, yeah, I believe the ninth richest family in the world. I did a little looking into them, and this is the Canadian Encyclopedia, which I kind of take it for what it is. I think it's a left leaning, convenient authority. They miss stuff. They don't include the whole story with everything. But this family is kind of the royal family of one of the royal families of Canada, and I got a couple of spots highlighted. I think here the Thompson dynasty, now in its third generation, and it is as much a part of Canada's iconography as the Hudson's Bay Company, which the family once owned. Imagine that. right? Kind of one the country that kind of created Canada back in the day. Um, yeah, kind of a big deal. And Roy, Ken, and now David Thompson have shaped our view of how Canadian money behaves. That kind of made me cringe a little bit. Now, this is quite a story in the telling here, to make him look like Bruce Wayne. But this is really all you're really going to find on this family. They don't talk in public. In reading through this, their company has been incredibly protected. What was this one here? Um, so yeah, this one goes into the Hudson Bay Company, for people that want to dig a little deeper in that. But this family, all generations of them, cycled through the Upper Canada College, which is basically the Harvard or Yale of the universe. So this is a kind of the environment that these kids grew up in. Absolutely Laurentian elites, no doubt. And one of the points that came up in my interview with Jim Ferguson today at Train International was that Canada has been kind of the cottage country for exactly those people, the richest, most devious people in the world. This is how they see Canada, as kind of their cottage country. So, reading about up a little bit about this university here, it has exactly that same smell as the Harvards, uh, these elitist things. And when I was reading through the family itself, that was kind of a little bit disturbing, to be honest with you. Their money is contractually ma- uh, 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 their legacy, their finances are all dependent on the family. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If they want to live, they are saddled with the companies that the Thompson family has created. So I pulled up a little bit on the patriarch of it all, or the whatever it is, the dude, right? The third Baron Thompson of Fleet. This guy came here, under the Queen's blessing, was given royal title and lineage. It's quite the story, going back to the old days, kings and queens, and how the world was created. It was interesting to look into the family tree, as to what is available. It got me into looking into some of the information. These Wikipedia is not to be trusted. And that's not what I want to encourage people to do. I'm not telling you to trust Wikipedia. What I will tell you to do, though, is you can start with Wikipedia for threads to pull, things to dig deeper in, to kind of get of a feel for the direction, a heading, a baseline for where you want to go and understand. But uh, obviously, yes, wealthiest families in Canada, and some members are included in the list of Canada's richest people. Um, da, 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 da. This was the Woodbridge Company. We're going to get into that here in just a minute, but the money is moving downhill through the family, but they don't really go deeper than this current generation. They don't open up any of that. This Sherry Brideson, she's not listed in lineage, so they kind of stopped it there as for what they're sharing with people. But it was interesting to pull up some of the information that I started to pull out of some of these threads. And when I pulled up Thomson Reuters, as to, you know, simple search, um, what was it? Who finances Thomson Reuters, or who are the biggest shareholders of Thomson Reuters. And this is what I wanted people to understand is uh, some of these companies, right? Vanguard, bingo, right? And of course, McKenzie, right? And others. There's others. More Vanguard, more Vanguard. Um, Fidelity, right? J.P. Morgan. Uh, just kind of for a sniff around a sniff around where the money the money is with the or where the money comes from with these guys. Uh, we're going to go into here now a little bit about the journalism, the news portion in this, and where it connects. It's important to kind of see how the Thompsons ultimately ended up with this, or came to be the brokers, um, of who actually owns it now and who they serve. Uh, so we'll kind of read through here a little bit more on Wikipedia on Reuters. The basic stuff. Paul Reuter started in 1851. Um, so this kind of goes through the history of the company, um, the news outlet, the agency. I mean, they did a 100 years of reporting, actually journalism. But they started to change in 2013, and it was interesting to read through this. That in 2013 they knew that climate change was a joke. It was a farce. Um, in mid-October, this reporter, David Fogarty, was released. He was informed that climate change wasn't just a big story for the present, but that it would be if there was a significant shift in global policy, such as the U.S. introducing an emissions cap and trade system. Very soon after that conversation, he was told that his role was abolished. So that was kind of interesting when I started to then look into some of the conspiracy, or the not conspiracies, but the history, the of controversy, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. And that took me to a very different place. And I got some articles pulled up here, and I had to use a different browser to do this, honestly, guys, because Google wouldn't let me find most of what I was looking for. So I thought, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Um, take a quick look at some of the comments here. Um, I'm gonna pull this here. What do we got here? So nobody's watching the show. They're just talking about what's going on. And okay, maybe that's the story I should have run instead of doing this. But yeah, Jasper's gone. You can thank the government for that. Not conspiracy theory. Cuts. Da 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 da. This goes back to Notley on that. But that's for a whole other day and discussion. But the CIA and the media were called out, and this article goes back to 1977 initially, where Reuters was called out as a part of the same network of what some people called Mockingbird media. Mockingbird becoming the term Alice in Wonderland, when propaganda and manipulation kind of became the norm and real everyday, uh, the everyday business of media. And since then, Reuters has gone on to be controversial in all of that. Um, now I'm going to get back to the other one. This is awkward using different browsers, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Maybe we'll get there. Okay. So yeah, Reuters has been involved in a lot of controversies, and in 2018, they struck gold. They were basically given $10 billion, promised over 30 years, by a company that a lot of people will recognize. Why is this not working the way it's supposed to be? I'm not supposed to be able to. It's not supposed to shift on me like that. My apologies, guys. I'm not sure. Try this again. Okay. So we saw Vanguard in here, in a bunch of different places, some other companies and names that people will recognize. Um, but in 2012, Woodbridge Company was started and is the principal and controlling shareholders of Thomson Reuters, which is the merger of Thomson family buying Reuters, multinational media conglomerate formed in 2008 when Thomson acquired Reuters. This is the page that I was looking for a while ago. Interesting. Thanks for the comment, Dame. Reported for a small city and regional area in 2013. Imagine that. Um, might be able to connect to your organization right directly through this next little storytelling here. But in 2010, Woodbridge sold 40% of its interest, at the time. After they'd merged with Reuters, they sold it to BCE, which was Bell Canada. Woodbridge, at the time, held 85% of the Globe and Mail and acquired the other 15%, so leaving them 100% ownership of the Globe and Mail. Primary investment vehicle for members of the Thomson family, David and his brother Peter, who became chairman of Woodbridge in 2006 upon the death of their father. They also own the Markham Airport, and by proxy through other corporations, and playing the shell game. Guess what, guys? Quebecor and Toronto Star as Palantir. Uh, well, yeah, Palantir comes in here a little bit later, Carly. They do work directly with Palantir, and I'll see if I can find that here in one of these that I know I've got it. There was just so much that I went through today. It was unbelievable how busy these guys have been, um, over the years is just almost too hard to process. Um, I'll connect a couple of dots in the meantime while I'm looking for this other page that takes us to Palantir. But the Woodbridge Company also creates this infinite loop with the Trust Project, also under the auspices of the Thomson family. And here you can see that here where the URL, you can't see the URL at the top, but if this is a trust.org about us, takes you to the Thomson Reuters Foundation. And who we are is the corporate Foundation of Thomson Reuters, the global news and information services company. As an independent charity registered in the UK and the USA, we work to advance media freedom, foster more inclusive economies, and promote human rights. Does that sound familiar? Uh, Through news and media development, free legal assistance, and convening initiatives, we combine our unique service to drive systemic change. That most of y'all will remember hearing about from our own politicians and systemic racism and all of that kind of stuff. So this is kind of the front, the philanthropy, uh, some of the projects that they are funding through the Thompson organization. So when you start to look through these and some of the people that are involved with this, as soon as you see BBC, you know it's media mercenaries, Climate Land Use Alliance. Oh, imagine that. UN globalism, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, whatever that is. Uh, this is just like it's like a globalism menu, right? Menu for the globalists, and they do a lot of this through the Reuters Institute. This for the study of journalism is dedicated to exploring the future of journalism worldwide through debate, engagement, and research. I call bullpucky on that. Their advisory board, when I just took a quick look at their advisory board, I was like, pardon? We talked about it here a week or so ago about how our education system had been co-opted by foreign foreign bred ideologies post World War II, i.e., Operation Paperclip, all of the professors and teachers and everything that you know had grown up at the School of Munich in Berlin, and all of those institutions came here, and no, they didn't have any influence over the last 90 years in Canada, have they? We see that in all of our institutions. They're all just wonderful, right? Like Oxford, right? Harvard, the Washington Post, Royal Academy of Arts, Facebook. Oh, Campbell Brown, Facebook, right? Uh, Kind of just tells you part and parcel who sits on the board of this so-called charity organization that basically, controls billions and billions of dollars. Well, maybe not billions, but definitely many millions of dollars. And where is what I'm looking for? Forgive me, guys. I really want to find this because this was, I think we might, there we go. There we go. This is where it started to get a little scary. Looking at all of these people on these advisory boards, the heads of all of these experts, these white coat class, um, and of course they don't stick to just news and education. Here we've got Mr. Thompson as the CEO, David Thompson of Pharmaphorium. Um, Again, I was disorganized today. So here's a Financial Post article from 2021 calling him a peek into the mysterious, reluctant head of Canada's richest family. Lots of interesting stuff to read in there. He sits atop literally an economic empire. And right now, I just had it. Right now, we're going to take a little bit of a scroll through, shall we, of some of the activities of Thomson and Reuters. Now, this page here Under Thomson and Reuters talks about operations, who their chief operator is, executive officer Steve Hasker obviously needs more knowledge for me. And this, I mean, there's massive amounts of reading today to get to this. They compete basically with Bloomberg, right, in aggregating financial and legal news. Uh, they are financial and risk. So these are the companies that are the market that they're in for companies like McKinsey. When they're directing politicians on what to do, they're coming to these companies and divisions of Thomson Reuters. So they've got several divisions: intellectual property and science, finance and risk, Thomson Healthcare, scholarly and scientific research. Oh, gee, more globalists in charge of scientific research. That's really great, right? This is where it gets a little scary. In 2012, Thomson Reuters sold its healthcare division to Veritas Capital, who renamed the business Truven Health Analytics. Who owns Truven Health Analytics? IBM. International Business Machines owns Truven Health Analytics. Whatever could they want with that? Here's a couple of other uh, divisions that they've sold out to others. And again, more cringe in the swamp. It's like we've hit the mother lode of the inner swamps castle here, guys. This is what we're looking at. Literally, is this the swamp creature's inner uh, vault? And now we're going to take a look at their portfolio here, acquisitions and divestitures, and this is a long list. Lipper Analytical in 1998, Thomson Reuters, Fiduciary Services. Interesting. Purchased by Broadridge Financial Solutions in May 15. But they've been highly acquisitive. So it means they're buying a lot, completing over 200 acquisitions between 2008 and 2018. That's a lot of money they're spending to buy stuff. And let's take a little bit of a look at what they're buying. StreamLogix, okay, provider of customizable, high volume, real time data mining solutions, okay, for hundreds of enterprises across several verticals, including financial services, technology, healthcare, life sciences. StreamLogix webcasting solutions are used for training and certification, marketing and lead generation, and corporate communications. That doesn't make you cringe at all, does it? Right? Same year, they bought Vehu Technologies. Vehu is provider of tech data services, and Thomson Reuters has been distributing its Velocity product under the Reuters tick capture engine label for 4 years prior to the acquisition. Okay. They bought Hugin Group. But this is literally the who's of the all of the institutions and organizations that they are requiring to snare us, from tax preparation, as you see down here. They're big in the tax software stuff. They acquired Red Egg, provider of media intelligence solutions or public relations and marketing professionals. Biz Actions, another digital newsletter. Design and development of module solutions, the next organization. So these guys, Thomson Reuters, to put it into the lowest common denominator here, guys, these guys are assembling the infrastructure for the digital slavery, right? And along the way, going right back to the top of Thomson Reuters, look at Thomson before it was Thomson Reuters. Okay. The forerunner of the Thomson Company was founded in 1934 by Roy Thomson in Ontario as a publisher of the Timmins Daily Press. In 1953, Thomson acquired the Scotsman newspaper and moved to Scotland the following year. He consolidated his media position in 1957, won the franchise for Scottish television. Okay, he bought the Kemsley Group, a purchase that eventually gave him control of the Sunday Times. He separately acquired the Times in 1967. He moved into the airline business in 65, acquired Britannia Airways. You know who he was in, had to have been dancing with through all of this time? Is Mr. Robert Maxwell. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it that he was not involved in all of these businesses in this time frame and was not doing business with Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Not possible. Um, Oil and gas exploration 71 participated in a consortium to exploit reserves in the North Sea. There's a lot of money that was taken out of there by a few very wealthy people. Following the death of Thompson, the company withdrew from national newspapers and broadcasting media, selling the Times to Rupert Murdoch's News International in 81, and instead moved into publishing, buying Sweet and Maxwell in 88. This company at the time was known as the International Thompson Organization. In 89, it merged with Thomson Newspapers, forming the Thomson Corp. In 66, acquired West Publishing, a purveyor of legal research and services, including Westlaw. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting, not there, but up here. So, right. So Thomson Corp acquired Reuters Group to form Thomson Reuters in April 2008, operated under a dually listed company. Um, didn't take long though, and they were being investigated for competition bureau stuff. Um, but they have slowly continued to grow, and to this point, um, they own the majority of print and media and all influences upon it, not just in Canada, but primarily in Europe as well. Again, guys, I only got half of what I was digging for in here. A lot of what I dug up the first time, I couldn't get around, couldn't find again. A lot of stuff was removed from the when I first did a dive on this about a year ago, just over a year ago. But at the end of the day, what these guys are doing is they are so the important part here. I'm missing a real big piece of this that I meant that is critical to this. They sold out in 2018 to BlackRock. BlackRock bought most of their shares, and the deal was sorry, that goes right back to the beginning. One of the first stories I cover, or I opened up, and I cannot find anything anymore. So the deal was BlackRock bought most of their shares, allowed them to buy Reuters, and in return, they got the promise of a whole bunch of billions of dollars. Why am I so messed up today? My eyes are just popping out of my skull. All right. There we go. Finally. Sorry. Found it. It's important, guys. All right. It's in this article here. And this is an older one as well. Uh, so the from financial once terminal business becomes controlled by Blackstone. So Blackstone paid, led by Steven Schwartzman rather than Thomas Reuters, that business has much less incentive to pay Reuters hundreds of millions of dollars for its news. After all, Thomas Reuters has significant control over what Reuters covered. By contrast, Reuters will and must have complete editorial independence from Blackstone. So the deal is that at the end of the day, they're going to pay $325 million. It would be terrible for Reuters for not for one thing. This is the sentence. As part of the deal, BlackRock or Blackstone has agreed to pay Reuters at least $325 million a year for its news. Better yet, that payment is guaranteed for at least 30 years. That's $9.7 billion in total, the kind of money most news organizations can only dream of. To put that number in context, Washington Post was bought by Jeff Bezos for $250 million. So what it is Blackstone bought them and gave them $325 million a year to print the news that they want. And what does that mean? That means that we continue to get news like this, where NATO now suddenly finds gaping holes in Europe's defenses. This is just yesterday's news. And why? Why do we need to know that NATO has gaping holes in Europe's defenses? Because they want more money. They want more money. The only way to solve it is to throw more money at it. The only way to solve it is to get more money from the people, right? Us that are footing the bill on these wars, right? So if Europe is in danger and there's holes that need to be filled, they're going to have to pay for it. And what does he get out of it? He gets to be the fourth richest sports franchise owner. He owns the Winnipeg Jets. So some people probably look at this guy like he's a hero, but not so much. So it's really, really disturbing. This is just skimming over the top of this, guys. When I looked into some of the companies that I was dealing talking about with these guys, they're literally funded by governments in some cases. Even we're partners with Russia at one point, having just getting out of that. But these guys are in bed with anybody and everybody, and they leave a lot of chaos behind in their trail. And they're a part of the machine. But it was this I was looking for. Some of these technologies and these surveillance technologies, just reading through this list of their recent acquisitions in the last 10 years, when you start to overlay this, there's no way I could get into the companies and everything in a couple of days. You're actually, in most lowest common denominator, you're correct. They're stealing our money. And, that's what the government does, is they buy these public-private partnerships and they fund these guys that provide them exactly what they want, when they want it, and on whatever platform they want and need it, right? So this guy, while he's sitting in his luxury booth watching his hockey team, his bread and circus, his reward for being the governor, he gets to own his own bread and circus and coliseum, is orchestrating and fiddling, pulling the strings, the marionette master of the news in Europe and the world. And when you look at the agencies that they are buying and owning, I'm afraid to talk about these guys. They own the biggest law firms too, right? I'd be surprised if 10 minutes after this show, I'm not slammed with a cease and desist and removal order. But yeah, that's just skimming over the surface of what the guys in cottage country are doing to the rest of the world. So I don't think I'm too far off when I, you know, question if Canada controls the world's media. And if that is the case, um, understandably, the world should be definitely very, very concerned, right? Um, knowing eh, this is what they're trying to drive us to, right? Is more war. War is big money. Yeah. I'm going to talk about this for just like a second because it came up on. I was talking with Jim earlier today. It's all about the money, right? If there's no war, there's no military industrial complex. If there's no military industrial complex, all of our politicians would have nobody to work for anymore, wouldn't they? We probably wouldn't have as many people fleeing bombed out countries. And but at the end of the day, we, our politicians, our media, and the richest people in the world continue to give us crap like this, fear and lies and propaganda to manipulate and deceive. That was interesting. Did y'all lose me there for a second? I lost me there for a second. I don't even know what happened. But yeah, these masters of the money manipulate the wars, manipulate the profits. Now we're even seeing Canada. Wow. Did I come back? Weird. I thought I'd maybe get through the whole show before weird stuff started happening. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I literally got kicked out of the studio. I'm glad it let me back in and I didn't lose you guys. Obviously, the stream kept going. It's just I wasn't a part of it anymore. So I wonder who was driving Starship What's Up Canada at that moment. I have no idea, guys. I must be over the target, right? Every day is a new adventure for Wayne's World. Um, so yeah, pretty crazy. It's a lot to wrap into one show. I didn't want to get too deep in it. I didn't want to make allegations that I could not provide public information for to tell you where I got it from. Everything else is just connective tissue for all of this. But yeah, I think it's good for people to know, uh, you know, who their pretend heroes are, right? Uh, Winnipeg Jets. Yeah, that's the guy. And when we look at some of the other ones, the Edmonton Oilers, well, that's Mr. Rexall. All of these people with so much abundance, successful businesses, billionaires, people look up to. Uh, yeah, I just, it's to me, it's what makes, I think it's important to put faces to it. Too many people use the term they, them, the cabal, the deep state. No, it's people. There are real people driving the buses on all of this. And I get a little frustrated when I look around all of the media spaces. Everybody talks about the crime, the corruption, the swamp, the deep state, and all of those things. And they just gloss over Canada. Like Canada is not even, it's not big enough or relevant enough to be responsible for anything of it. So they skate right over it, pretend, oh, Canada's just full of nice guys. Well, that's exactly why this shit continues is people don't want to look at cottage country and sideswipe these guys like they did, like Kean did with Trudeau on Saturday, right? These guys skate in anonymity in Canada, and all of the pundits and the truth tellers and the journalists. Nobody wants to give credit where credit is due when the richest and most devious monsters in that community live right here in Canada and have been going back for generations. Generations. Yeah, they'll, everybody wants to point fingers at the George Soros and the Bill Gates and squabble about this guy or that, and nobody's looking at the real movers and money movers and the makers. And this guy's walking among you, paying for you for the bread and circus, providing the bread and circus and entertainment. Why? So that people like me don't put it together and come on here and talk to you all about it a little bit. 100% angry, Gary. Canada is the most corrupt country in the world, just has doesn't get noticed, and that's what makes it possible for these guys, right? Same thing. Sherman's hidden, buried, story. Nobody wants to talk about it, right? Uh, Not to take away from anything else, there's a lot of really horrible shit going on out there, and most of us just don't understand why and who's pulling the strings. And this guy, this family is generational. Talk about this, often. And this guy, whether he wants to or not, he's owned. He's owned by his legacy. Their family operates on that to the death. They have responsibility up to and after their deaths to fulfill the family legacy. It's bizarre looking into the background when you go into the Canadian Encyclopedia, and where they kind of explain how the inheritance and the legacy continues and how they've become so wealthy. It's very similar to a lot of these other uh, technocrats or oligarchs that think that they're above the world, and this guy pulls the strings on what people are allowed to read and directs and manipulates them on what to think, and BlackRock picks up the bill for it. So this is crazy, uh, crazy stuff. And it's, again, like I said, originates from right here in Canada. Oh, one other one that I meant to bring up, that because I was had it in a different browser, is there's no way that this guy gets this successful without being in good favor with certain people, like this one. Yeah. hmm um, I found a couple of different totals. This article specifically targets a smaller donation, but you'll see here in the 1 million to $5 million range is none other than Thomson Reuters. They gave between $1 to $5 million to them, right? Kind of a I'm glad I didn't miss that one completely. So yeah, I guess we know whose camp they're in. So I hope that was a valuable tidbit to make sure that it's there. Quiet, very, very exactly, Gary, angry Gary. That's how they've gotten away with it for so long. Canada has allowed them to do this here in Canada. They wanted to hang out with Big Brother and become just like Big Brother, right? So every time they got caught doing something illegal, immoral, or unethical in the United States or anywhere else, there was somebody in Canada who would be willing to take part in that. Sorry if you didn't see who that was. The Clinton Foundation got 100 between $1 and $5 million in that one campaign from Mr. Thomson Reuters. So this isn't really one that I suggest have a huge number of suggestions that we can do. Absolutely, I will upload the discussion and archive the articles. Cool. Not published. Okay. Yeah, happy to help get more information out. I know I'm kind of a little bit awkward in how I do this. Appreciate the comment. Thanks, Shareware. I'd like to look a little bit deeper than the service, but tonight I got to points and I went, ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, no. This is how people get disappeared and self delete with two to the back of the head. When they start bringing up collusion and connection and fans of these kinds of people, and when you look at the technologies that they're buying into with this corporation and the global influence that they have and the control of what they of the influence that they have as to what the narrative is, they're going to set the narrative based on what they required for them from BlackRock, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a reason Vanguard and State Street and uh, all of these agencies, right? So yeah, kind of probably right over the target on that one. uh, yeah, that's why the Shermans couldn't be uh, couldn't be allowed. And they've always got a patsy, they've always got a way, they've always got a plan. And there's always the Arkansas disease, or the what we can call now the Trump treatment. They will carry on doing whatever it takes to control the money. But I think it was important for people to kind of get a glimpse, a bit of a touch of an understanding of some of the evil that is affecting the world that comes from our own swamp. The best thing that we can do, guys, is, I say this every night: support the genuine, honest journalists, the ones that are, taking the risks, doing the work, doing the things, uh, taking chances, showing bravery. Whoever that is for you, absolutely support them. If you have a story, or you're a whistleblower, uh, send me an email to contact at whatsupcanada.org as well. If you have any issues getting to the Tactical Civics event 101 on Saturday, you can email me for that as well. I'll make sure links are available for that tomorrow as well. Actually, for this one here, guys, I will take and throw it into the chat for everybody. Bear with me for just a second while I drop it into chats across the board here for folks. And that on Saturday won't be recorded. Yeah, I got booted somewhere. Anyway, oh, there we are. Good times, hey guys. So Saturday's informal. It's a test run. We're going to be talking about Tactical Civics number one, our little program. Probably initially do that once a month, probably for the beginning. Make sure you get everything tomorrow on Substack, and support your favorite local journalist. You can find a link for this in any of the platforms as well. You can buy me a coffee at that link. And if you want to buy me a box of craft dinner, I will gratefully eat it. And you can do that right here at donate@whatsupcanada.org. Tomorrow is Bankers, Bandits, Bullion, and Bucks with Bryce again. And I think we're going to have James Roguski on the show next week, as well as next Wednesday. I've got a friend of ours, Meg Americans. He's a podcaster from down south of the border as well. He was in Butler, at the event with Mr. Trump, and we're going to talk to him, not necessarily about any of the theory behind that, but what it's like being just John Q. American and being a witness to that. Family man, good guy. So we're going to have him in on Wednesday. Big stuff coming up this weekend, as I said, with Jim Ferguson. I think he's going to be publishing our interview tomorrow. That'll make its way out on Twitter or X and a few other places. But until then, I love you all. Stay Canadian, stay mighty, my fellow patriots and hostages, wherever you're fighting from. Carry on. We are going to win this sooner or later. But this weekend, we're going to take some learning baby steps on different, more creative ways to do this. And pray for the people of Jasper, guys. That was that's going to hurt the heart of Canada. That was a part of our core Canadian identity, right? People, it was not known and loved the world over, and I hope they get rebuilt soon. And yeah, pray for those folks and help out where you can. And we will see you all tomorrow. All right, guys, I'm going to go and look after this headache. We'll see you tomorrow.